Hey, it's Taylor from SemiRandom Science, and today we are going to be looking at how model rocket motors work. So we are going to start here by just opening up the model rocket motors. So how model rockets work is they use Newton's laws of physics, the opposite and equal action and reaction, to propel a rocket upwards. So it's basically pushing stuff downwards so that the rocket moves up. So if we open these up, get these out of here, those are our igniters. Get out instructions, and here's our model rocket motor. So we can see in the bottom of the model rocket motor that we have this clay area, and so that's a clay nozzle. So what that does is it basically pushes everything out through this tiny little hole. So there's black powder inside of this, at least I think that's what they use inside of Easties. Does it say on here? Warning, flammable. Nice. No, it doesn't say black powder, but I believe that it's black powder inside of an Easties rocket. And so I'm going to, when we go out and launch, I'm going to stick one of these igniters into the motor, and then there's going to be electricity that comes through that, and it's going to make a spark inside of here that ignites the black powder, and then black powder explodes. So it expands. It has like a 700-to-1 expansion ratio. And so there is 700 times the amount of volume in here, and which makes it go extremely fast. It's blowing up, and then we're forcing it all through this little nozzle right at the end there. And so it's going extremely fast when it comes out. And the faster you are going, the mass is going, the more reaction it's going to make. It's like if you're in space and you're an astronaut and you have a backpack and you want to get back to the space station, you're floating away. If you just push it away, you're not going to go very fast. But if you actually throw it, then it's going to create a bigger reaction and you're going to go faster in the other direction. So that's basically what this is trying to do, is it's expanding this black powder to its gaseous form, which has a 700 times greater volume, so that it blows out this at extreme speeds, and that's what propels the rocket forward. Then, inside of the rocket engine, there is a coast phase. So we have our burn phase, which is going to be to like right there. And then we have our coast phase, which is from right there to right there maybe. And the point of this coast phase is to let the rocket reach its maximum altitude. So the rocket burns, it starts going extremely fast, goes up, reaches its coast phase, coasts up to its maximum altitude, and then deploys the parachutes. Because there's then the ejection charge or whatever in there, the ejection part that blows out the air from the front of the model rocket, which then blows out the parachute. But you don't want to do that too early, because or else it's going to go up, and then it's going to still be going up, it's just not going to be burning anymore, and you're going to blow out your parachutes, and it's going to pull it back and not let it go up as high. So that's going to give you your maximum altitude. And then we have that ejection, which is going to be like right here. And that blows hot air out the other side and pushes your parachute and nose cone off the end of the rocket, and then they deploy and your rocket floats back down. Anyway, so that's the basics of how a model rocket motor works. Now, let's look at the rocket. Okay, so now that we have this opened up, we are going to pull this open, and we have our rocket. So we can just open this up, grab out the Swiss Army knife once again, find the knife, and let's just cut this open and Oh, the parachute. I'm lucky I didn't cut the parachute cord. And we are going to, it looks like the parachute's in there too. So we just need to cut this tape, or just pull it. There we go. And then just get our rocket out. Let's put the knife down so I don't accidentally stab myself. And just go at this until we get our rocket out. Looks like there's more tape down here. So we now have our rocket. So let's once again look at the model rocket motor and what it does. And so what we're going to do is, do we unscrew this? How does this come off? Okay, so the model rocket motor goes inside here and just sticks up in there. You put the cap on, and then it burns through that first amount. So this would be on with that inside, of course, but just here, let's even put that inside. We don't have a parachute. Let's even put the parachute on. Okay, so this thing is now ready to launch. So, once again, I'm just going to go through what it's doing now with it inside of the rocket. So it first starts with that burn stage, where it shoots off the launch pad and goes up super high and gains a lot of velocity. Then, once it has that velocity, it's going up and it coasts for a little while before deploying the parachute, so that, because it still has upward momentum, so it's still going up. And then once it starts to reach that maximum altitude, then you have the ejection charge that goes out the other end and blows off the nose cone and the parachute, and then it all falls back under the parachute before it lands on the Earth, and we're able to load a new rocket engine into it and able to fly it again. So, I have now relocated to the park and I am getting ready to launch this rocket. So, how you launch it is you take this box, which is connected to the rocket via this red cord, and you put this starter key inside of the box, and then you push it down. So it's not engaged right now, and then you'll just press the button. And that completes a circuit. There's batteries inside of here which run electricity through the cable into the rocket, and that makes a spark inside. There's a little igniter which just creates a spark inside of that black powder. The black powder starts exploding and it starts growing. It pushes the rocket, or it pushes the exhaust down and pushes the rocket up. Anyway, so here we go for our first launch. Hopefully not our final launch. Three, two, one. I can hear something. Whoa! So that rocket launch worked. It didn't work as well as I had expected. The rocket didn't fire when I pressed the button. I heard a noise, it started crackling, and then it stopped. And then it started crackling again, and then it launched, which was interesting. I hadn't expected that. So I don't know if it needs to burn through a little bit of a charge before it actually launches, or what the reason for that was, but that is what happened. I'm ready to launch again. I've packed in the parachute and the paper in there so that the parachute doesn't burn up. and I'm ready to go again. The bottom of the rocket is a little bit burned, just as a side note. The bottom of the rocket is a little bit burned, and the launch pad is quite burned. But other than that, it worked fine. The parachute actually deployed. Everything worked excellent. Anyway, here goes launch 2, and hopefully it works a little bit better this time. But we're just going to, once again, put in that little key thing, press it in, and press the button. Okay, so that rocket launch actually went a lot better. I should have counted down on that one because it actually went when I pressed the button. I had counted down on the other one, and I had probably made a fool of myself, and so I didn't count down on that one, but I'll try counting down again on this one, and hopefully it works better. But so here goes rocket launch number 3. We are pushing the button down. Get the light that says we're go for launch. 3, 2, 1. Hey, so I'm back in my room and I have the rocket, and I now have launched it 3 times. I was up at the park nearby and all went well. So I just wanted to show you what some of the hardware looks like. I haven't actually really touched this at all. So I'm going to be pulling this off for the first time. And so you can see that this is a bit burnt on the end. It's quite burnt. And I have a slow-mo video that I'll show. Or maybe I've already shown it in the video, I don't know. Anyway, so that is burnt, and you'll be able to see how that gets burnt when the slow-mo, as it just comes out of the bottom really fast. Anyway, so there's that. And we have our rocket engine. It's still a little bit warm. It's interesting because that was probably 10 minutes ago that I launched it, so it's kept its warmth all this time. And you can see that you still have the nozzle on the back, the clay nozzle, that is able to get all of the exhaust small enough that it's going really fast out the end. And then you can see that the other side is empty, where all of the fuel went through. Like, I can see the camera through. You guys probably can't see me. But anyway, I don't know if you guys can actually see that. It's pretty dark in there, but it's empty. And the rocket has a little bit of stuff on the bottom, which actually wipes off. So I think that the rocket is pretty much the exact same. The parachute didn't get burned at all. But this did, so that's why you put the toilet paper or whatever you pack inside of there in, because when it ejects, and I wasn't able to find all of it, I don't know if this is the most burned or the least burned piece, but when it ejects that hot gas out the front to push the parachute out, it burns it a little bit, and so that's why if it was the parachute there, the parachute would just melt, and that doesn't make for good recovery. But since we have that there, I was able to recover it. All 3 times the parachute went out just fine, and the rocket landed fine. I mean, it didn't sustain any damage. There was one time where it went up, and it went up, I don't know, pretty high, and then it came down probably half the way down before the parachute actually deployed, which was kind of interesting. I hadn't expected that, but other than that, the parachute deployed without incident, and even that time, the parachute, it deployed and it slowed the rocket down just fine in time for it to land. I thought I'd show you, well, the launch pad, which has pieces falling off of it now from the places where it was burned, but surprisingly, you can look underneath where those pieces are, it's pretty much fine. So, piece of metal got burned on the top, but it's just fine overall. And then we have these, which have some soot on them, but are also just fine. But that just goes to show, like, really how powerful these are. these eject that gas really fast. You'll be able to see in that slow-mo video, which I actually haven't seen yet, but I'm sure that it just goes up. And that's on the iPhone, so you can know about how slow it usually is, but it just goes. Once you launch it, it just leaves. It's crazy, but I don't know. I found it really cool. Anyway, just once again, thank you so much for watching. I really love launching rockets. Like, that's one of my favorite hobbies. I think it's so cool because I think that my favorite thing in the world is space. Just, it fascinates me so much. It's such a cool thing, and I'm loving that we're maybe even having tourists go around the moon in 2018 on SpaceX's Falcon Heavy. I just think it's so fascinating, and how quickly developments are coming in now. That we've got a, what's it called, a rocket to land on a barge in the middle of the ocean. That's the word I'm looking for, rocket. Anyway, and that's a crazy concept. That would have been sci-fi even 2 or 3 years ago, but now it's reality. So I just think that's pretty incredible, and I think that it's tomorrow that SpaceX is planning on launching the Dragon, after yesterday they had to scrub it for because there was lightning or something. Anyway, so I'm super excited to see them reuse a Dragon crew capsule as well, or not crew capsule, the cargo capsule, but that will be eventually used for crew in the future, or at least the Crew Dragon, the version 2. Anyway, I'm just super excited about this. I love rockets, I love flying them, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video and learning a little bit more about just how the rocket motor worked. Anyway, just once again, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button. And honestly, I really want to be able to know what you guys want to see, just what videos everyone else wants to see, and how you want me to look at it. And so put those suggestions in the comments below and on social media. The links will be down in the description. Anyway, just once again, thank you so much for watching, and remember to always keep learning.